Welcome, I'm Kinetic Symphony. This is Dave. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the supernatural. Case file number 1983, written by Grace Omega. Naked and Strange, a glimpse through the range. When this happened, about 2.5 years ago, I was sleeping in a room at the back of my house that faces the back of another row of houses. For some reason, the people in those houses often don't close their curtains at night, which can get awkward because I often felt like I was accidentally spying on people if they had their lights on. One evening, I was doing something in my room, tidying up or something, and I glanced out the window. 2 houses down, in one of the upstairs bedrooms, there was a naked girl standing right in front of the window, staring out. The bedroom light was on, even though there was still plenty of daylight, so this was hard to miss. I'm a guy in my early 30s, assuming she was just getting dressed and forgot to close the curtains, and not wanting this girl to think I was being creepy, I quickly looked away and went about whatever I was doing. A few minutes later, I happened to look out the window again, and she was still there, still just staring straight out of her bedroom window. This was weird enough that I stopped what I was doing and tried to figure out what the hell was going on. The girl started moving really slowly, sort of making these odd poses, like turning slightly from side to side or lifting one arm like she was looking at herself in a mirror. Except obviously there was no mirror, and it wasn't nearly dark enough to get a reflection in the window like you do sometimes at night. The sun had just begun to set, so it was actually still quite bright out. I just stood there for a while, trying to come up with some sort of explanation for what I was seeing, but the whole thing started to feel way too creepy on every level, at which point I noped out and closed my blinds. About 15 minutes later, I cautiously checked to see if the coast was clear, and the girl was gone. And this is where it gets even weirder. It took me a while to realize this, but there is no young girl living in that house. The couple who live there are elderly, and if it was a grandchild or something, then I'd never seen her there before or since. I also find it really odd that no one else saw her. I know they didn't because gossip gets around the street like wildfire. And this is the sort of thing that would have been talked about. Like I said, not the craziest story, but it was incredibly eerie. Still wonder who the hell that was and what she was doing. Case file 1983, Naked and Strange, a glimpse through the range. So up until the point you mentioned that no young girl lives there, it didn't really seem like a glitch to me, maybe confusion. But now that you mentioned that the young girl wasn't living there, well, it must have been a spirit, right? And if you think about it, why do spirits even come clothed when they manifest themselves, because they can't do that? Almost never are they reported to be naked, but yet, if you're an echo, you die and you're now an echo, a fragment of a soul, an imprint on the world. You keep your clothes? Is the universe itself trying to be PG-13 or something? Is like baked into the program, whatever you die in, you keep forever? Or while the fragment lasts? Huh. Just thinking about that now, but again, even then, if you die when you're naked, your birthday suit is what you have, that's it? And so the spirit was just like lingering and longing for the days of yore, reminiscing on our past life, but then, why the stretching? Maybe the couple did have a girl over, and she was just out of it? I guess that's also possible. If it's a spirit though, it really does beg those questions. If you die naked, do you remain a naked ghost if you manifest? I guess that's kind of funny. Case file number 1984, written by Silvertain, the Bentley that never was. I attended a funeral last week, attended by my uncles, aunties, and cousins. I haven't seen them for years, and some, decades. I saw my cousin, who is a director of a communication company. I haven't seen him for maybe a decade. Last time I saw him at a funeral, he owned a distinctive cream-colored Bentley with a red interior. I remember talking to him at length about it and vividly remember 2 of my brothers being there for the conversation. The same 2 were also at this recent funeral. I asked him if he still owned this Bentley, and he looked confused and said he has never owned one in his life, only Jaguars, which he was indeed driving on that day. I was confused but didn't push it. Later I asked my brothers, thinking my cousin frankly was lying. He's a bit of a Flash Harry type character. They also said that they have no idea what I'm talking about, despite the fact that I can recall us all talking around the bloody car, clear as day. It's a very distinctive car. I thought maybe it was a different person until I remembered my cousin gave me his business card. By the car. And also the other day I dug out the old card. I have it with all my other business cards. And they are identical. So what the hell's going on? I can't stop thinking of this as a parallel universe, or what? Okay, so it's from 1984. The Bentley that never was. Yeah, sure, he could be lying. But I don't think that's the case. This is solid evidence that you're in a different world. Because why would he lie about that? Really, doesn't make sense. A Bentley is an object of admiration and achievement. It's something you would brag about having had if you did have it. I think it's better than a Porsche or whatever, or a Jaguar. Cougar? What the hell car did he have? I forgot. But yeah, nothing wrong with being in a different universe, just check for more signs. But everything should function more or less the same. Case file number 1985, written by Trying to Not Comment. Gates Mystery. Screws Return History. A week ago, I was sweeping off the walkway at the side of my house after a stormy night. As I got to the gate, I noticed that the handle on the gate was missing one of the 2 screws that attach it to the wood. I checked the ground for the missing screw but couldn't find it. Upon closer inspection, it looked like a screw had never been installed at the top of the handle because there was no corresponding hole drilled into the gate. I just assumed that I must have forgotten to add that screw when I had replaced the gate handle a few months earlier. It was a bit annoying because the screws came with the handle as a kit. I had no idea where to find the screw or to get a matching replacement. A couple days later, I went back out to the gate to get a better look at the remaining screw so I could go find a replacement for the missing one. Here's a glitch. The handle was fully attached with 2 screws. The handle was attached exactly as I believed I had originally attached it. Nothing was missing. The screws on the handle were equally weathered and showed no sign of being tampered with. Case on file 1985. Gates Mystery, Screws Return History. Alright, this is an eerie one. Maybe the mention of the storm has me on edge. Even though I like thunderstorms, there's still a charge, a crackle to them, you could say. But in this case, it's almost like the lightning storm cracked apart the membrane between universes, so you were seeing into a different one, and I think it makes sense. If that is possible, it would require a lot of energy. And what does a lightning storm bring? A lot of energy, and lightning especially. It's almost like in that movie, The Mist, at the start. The thunderstorm and the fog rolling in was part of an experiment. And if you apply that to the real world, even if no one is conducting an experiment per se, maybe they are though, that could be related to parallel worlds and peering through the looking glass. It may just take enough of a certain type of energy to break through, temporarily, of course. And then a reset back, when you went to check later, voila. All good, because it happened in a different universe. So many things can just be said like that. Don't worry, you're not crazy. It just happened in a different universe. Could print that on a shirt. Now time for the joke of the day. If King Kong went to Hong Kong to play ping pong and died, what would they put on his coffin? A lid. Like the video, subscribe, hit the bell. Kinetic Symphony, signing off.